My name is Kelly Locke and I am the assistant principal here at Parkview Elementary in Westville School District. And we have been using Kokori now for about 2 full years. Having those morning meetings and those SEL discussions daily or multiple times a day really has done a lot for our district. In particular, a lot of our older kids, you definitely see the growth from when they were 3rd, 4th grade and now 5th, 6th grade. You definitely hear them using the language and stopping and thinking before they react and, thinking about other people's feelings. So there is value in it, and it definitely will show you kind of like where the needs of your school are. I definitely recommend other districts looking into Kokori and utilizing their platform. Everything has really been targeted and tiered towards educators to make their lives easier, and also to make teaching social emotional learning like a lot easier, because a lot of our teachers, that's not something that was really taught when they were in college on how to teach social emotional learning. And I think it's a great way for them to feel like they have all the tools to reach the needs of their kids and set the tone of the day, because SEL is not just one more thing. For us, it is vital because we need that every day in school to develop those relationships and make sure that we are meeting the needs of our kids. We have a highly needy demographic here, so social emotional learning and social emotional needs are usually a top priority for us, where we want to make sure that we're doing more preventative practices, which is kind of what Kokori does, to teach them the skills that they need to handle their big feelings or handle a tough situation in school, because not everybody knows how to teach that, whether it's at home or in school. So it's given me a uniform way to reach all the kids, and also to help my teachers so they don't feel so overwhelmed. It gives them the tools they need to really meet the needs of their kids, their Maslow's needs, and build those relationships, develop expectations and a community within their classroom. I do feel like starting the day with SEL and Kokori and those lessons really kind of sets the day and sets the tone for our kids, so they can be available for not only learning, but following the expectations of our building and the rules, and practicing being trustworthy, being a good citizen, being caring for others, being respectful, responsible, all those things. That just kind of allows us to develop that a little bit further with them.
So last year I did not use it, and I felt like I had several behaviors in the classroom. I had a lot of fighting, a lot of kids being disrespectful, not really focused on their schoolwork. And this year I use it, and I feel like it just starts my morning a lot more positively. Like, we go right from morning meeting into our SEL lesson, and I feel like it helps me to do it consistently. Like, I'm not just pulling an SEL lesson when I need it, I'm doing it daily now. And I feel like this year my class is a lot more loving, they're playful, they act more like a classroom family, because we start our morning every day making sure that they're talking, they're sharing, they're being kind and listening and being respectful to one another. I've noticed that in small groups every day. So when they're at a teacher-led group, and I see them being respectful. When they're on an independent group, I see them actually taking turns and listening, and I definitely feel like that's from using the program. When I say, oh, it's Kokori time, it's SEL time, they get really excited. They always cheer. That's a lot of their favorite parts of the day. Even some of my friends who have a much harder time to making it to the end, they really get excited for it. It starts our morning where they're not just slumping or getting they're not coming in tired. When I say all right, we're doing morning meeting, then we go into SEL, they come right to the rug. A lot of times they're oh, I wonder what game it'll be today. I wonder what the name is. They always want to share first, or they want to start the name greeting first. And every single one of them participates, all 13. It's not that they want to sit. Every single one stands up, ready to do the name game. They smile at each other. They give the compliment if it's that day. It's been going really well. It's perfect because I literally just click the link and it's done for me. Yeah. I mean, obviously I pick and choose which slides I want to do, so I have to look at it the night before or the morning of, but it's already just outlined for me. It does the national day, the morning message, the game, the videos. It's perfect. It's very user-friendly. It makes me feel like I'm staying focused on it, and I'm actually reaching the skill that we're working on, whether it's respect or kindness or empathy. It's really helped to build their confidence, which is so important at such a young age.
Their personalities are very strong, so if someone has a bad day that morning, they'll come in and you can tell immediately that it's a bad day. We just know right off the bat, okay, we're going to be dealing with this all day, whether it's consistent or it's in little chunks. We can read our boys like the back of our hands. But I will say, even on those days when they come in, it happened yesterday, they get to morning meeting, they sit on their carpets, and they might pout for a while first, but then once we're rolling into it, they realize that it actually is fun and engaging, and they literally get pulled right out of it. We'll see like a little hand starting to creep up, and I'll be like, oh yeah, and like I call on them, you know, like they're engaging, and then within 5 seconds, they're back in a fine mood. Corey is able to like bring it out of them. It's like huge in my classroom too, like my kids with the higher behavioral needs, like they can't have lecture style learning. They like have to have everything sensory, everything hands-on. And that's why I love the morning meetings so much. I think that if my kids were like lecture style all day long, I would lose them in probably 2 minutes, honestly. And they wouldn't be retaining anything. I think that the little breaks in between help them retain it. It'll keep their brain nice and spongy. And I think the movement too almost like ingrains it in their brain. It's almost like, okay, we had our little bit of a lecture, now we're doing this with our hands, and now we're getting up and moving our body. So I think that like, since my kids really need that, of course anyone's gonna benefit from that, but it's like huge in our classroom. We're all so close, even on like their worst days, like when they're, you know, done escalating or whatever it is that they had just gone through, they know that like this is a safe space for them, and like they have that relationship with us like family. So when you have that too, it's so much easier to like get those things ingrained in them.
Yeah.
So that's really important in our room as well. Or touch someone who, like that was a really good one for that, because it's relationship building in a sense that like I might have all the boys on the ground and their eyes are closed and one person's it, and I say touch someone who is very kind, or touch someone who has upset you before, touch someone who has made up for like a wrongdoing, like stuff like that. And the kids who are being touched, they feel it and they like know that those emotions are there, but they don't even know who it's coming from, which is nice. So like activities like that absolutely help with like relationship building. So it's nice that like I would have never thought to do that activity before I learned it, you know, from you guys. So like having that extra like repertoire of all these different things that we can try to keep growing the relationships is really special too. So the welcome to the party activity is so fun. So we just found that one, I think, like randomly one day when I was exploring. But my kids are just like so rambunctious and they just have so much energy in them. And it's a small class, like they don't get embarrassed easily. So we saw that one, and the main focus is of course emotion. So it fit well into our SEL. Basically everyone selects an emotion. There's like a bunch of emotions on the board and you get to go up and pick whichever one you want. You don't tell anyone what it is. And then one by one, everyone goes out into the hallway and one person stays in the room, and you tell the kids beforehand that like you're hosting a party and like everyone has to come into the party. They'll knock on the door, we'll let them in. So it's like a theatrical thing too for them, which was so fun. Like we told them we were like putting on a show and blah, blah, blah. So one of the teachers of course stayed in the room and one went out in the hallway with the boys. You knock on the door, they let you in. And as soon as you come into the party, you have to show your emotion. And then the people that are already at the party have to identify what emotion that person has and like how they can help fix it now that we're at the party. So like the first person who came in might've been like happy, and they come in and like they're showing happy on their face, and maybe they're jumping around. But then maybe the second person that came in had like anger was their emotion. So they'll come in and they'll be acting out what anger feels like. So then like everyone that's in there is seeing those, you know, cues for anger and learning those different things as well. And then like there's just the silliness of like we're supposed to be at a party right now. So we're also having fun with it, but like little do they know they're actually like learning the cues for these emotions. So that was a really fun one. Some of them are already pretty good at that, but then some of them, like my friend who's like a little bit lower socially, like he needs a lot of work identifying different emotional cues. So things like that, it's really nice to like watch his face light up and stuff like that. Or maybe I'll go up to him and say, oh, someone just came to my party, like what emotion do they have? And like make sure I ask him, because kids like that, we kind of like gear those things to them. But then the other guys, I think they're learning from it without even knowing. It has been a lot of fun, of course, but it's also like a lifesaver for teachers. Like teachers are just struggling right now. And I think that like when they hear, oh, we just got this new SEL program, everyone's kind of like, oh my gosh, like something else that we have to prep and another thing added to our list, you know, like teachers are struggling so much. And I definitely thought that at first too, but I mean, it literally couldn't be easier for you to prep. And it's just like fun. It changes things up for your kids, whether you're a class of, you know, 5 like me, or you're a class of 25 like some gen ed settings. It just makes your life so much easier. Like you have the slideshow, you edit it. I think it literally takes me like max, depending on the activities involved, maybe 20 minutes to like edit like 2 days worth of slides. And that's including too, like if I really want to like tweak the greeting or tweak the activity that comes with it. It's made my life so much easier. It's very quick and easy. It gives you everything that you need right there. You can cater it completely to your needs. You can cater it right to your class names if you want to like put your kids' names in there. You're learning new greetings every day. There's even videos in it. So it's honestly more than just SEL as well, because, you know, like today's lesson was about rainbows, but we got to watch a 5-minute video that was the science behind rainbows. So even though we're getting those SEL skills, it's actually brought into other different academics. So I think that that's really cool. So teachers should not be scared of it. I think it's very easy to handle and it's very exciting for the kids. And honestly, it's exciting for me. The absolute fun part is actually getting to do it with the kids. Like every day is something new. Like I'm learning along with the kids and we're having a fun time. We're moving, we're getting all these different like sensory things in, movement breaks, we're getting academics in there, drawing breaks. Like I really do like it.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Sambucci. I teach 5th grade. I am currently a resource teacher for both language arts and math. We do SEL as a whole group, but I generally teach the resource room. My students often have a lot of need besides just academic. So Kokori has come in handy where I feel that I may need to stop what I'm doing academically and kind of revisit that based on where we are and very spontaneously throw something in there that I know is going to effectively address with what we're dealing with. So at any time you can find anything that you need to adapt. One of my aha moments this year, I was very excited when I was planning. I saw that it was Lego Day, International Lego Day, and right away I knew that one of my students was going to lose his mind that it was Lego Day. The aha moment there is that there is something for everybody. No matter if it's about nature, if it's about building or friendships or rainbows, there is something for everybody, and the themes across the board helps us kind of reflect and reset. So even a student that comes in a negative way, when we're done with the lesson, is generally leaving in a positive way because they've had that time to just really reset themselves for the day. There is a big tie-in with our PBS character goals that we represent each month and that we do. So there is a constant discussion that's happening about the things that we're looking for and the things that we're working on. And I think that shows, and it's apparent in the kids and the way that they're acting on a regular basis. This is my first year in 5th grade. I've been in 6th grade, I've been in lower grades, so I've supported for a few years now. My activities have changed for grade level. A few that I've done consistently, we made the village, the community village, and I actually have that hanging now. My 5th graders love that activity. They were each able to draw a house to represent them in their village, and then we talked a lot about the traits, the skills that we work on, the ideals that we wanted to represent as a community within our village, and then that negative, impactful stuff that we want to keep out. They were really loving that. We also, another one of my favorites is what's in a name. I've really expanded with that. The kids are able to go in and research their name and maybe find out, so we do some other questioning with our parents. Where did our name come from? Why did you give us our name? And then we research the background of the name itself, learn a lot about themselves that they didn't already know. And I think it's good because it creates a lot of engagement between the kids and parents themselves. They love, the kids love the check-ins. One of the most memorable from this year was the periodic table check-in. We had talked about periodic table randomly in science, and I knew the following week that there was a check-in coming up on the slides that I was going to present, and I had said, we're actually going to talk about this. You'll see next week in our slides. And then when it came up, like right away, that aha moment, they were like, you said we were going to talk about the periodic table. What element am I? What? So they really like to check in, and those outside of the box type check-ins, not what color am I, or what face am I, or what emoji am I today. So to connect it with something like the periodic table really extended and it brought in a whole conversation about just an academic level of a feeling and a check-in. And then some kids were like, oh, I didn't even know the periodic table, and that's so cool. And then they left learning an element that was on the periodic table. A lot of different things came from that, and I find that it comes from our check-ins regularly. I've been teaching for 13 years now. I have experienced a variety of programs. I think Kokori is very specific because it really targets what we're seeing now. I think that it has evolved kind of with the population and the world, and there's a lot of content in there that affects the everyday things that we're seeing in the world, or at least kids are making those connections to the things that they're seeing. And some of those things are big. They're big topics for kids, and you can tell through that conversation that those feelings are coming out, and those questions that they have. Kids have so many questions. So we're able to kind of process what's on their mind. I was kind of doing a similar slideshow in the morning with a daily affirmation, with a check-in, with a joke of the day, and a theme of the day prior to Kokori. That was taking me, every day I was doing that. That was taking me so much time. I can literally go in 3 minutes, check it, review it, hit upload, and it's ready to go for the day. Not that I wait for 3 minutes before, I'm very planned in advance, but it is there. I noticed that stop and think. We've put into play so much. Just take a moment, whether you're gonna have an explosion or what, just stop. And I can see that. I see that in a student. I see that in themselves, where they even may give me a quick glance of an eye contact, but it's that pause and you can see the whole breath physically. And I know that that's them taking that moment to reflect. And it may not always come out positive, it may come out positive, but just cueing in to kind of just signal and be one with yourself and to take a moment before you respond. And that's something we're working hard on because we're so spontaneous. But I see it with the kids. There's less impulsivity when it